and welcome to part 4. Today, we will be talking about how the COVID-19 vaccine works. So, Dr. Kelly, how can we trust a vaccine that was made in under a year?
That's an amazing question, Kenya. Did you know that the technique to making these vaccines has already been in development for over 30 years? So that foundation, that technique was already developed prior to COVID-19. Did you also know that the lead scientist behind the Moderna vaccine is an African-American female scientist by the name of Dr. Corbett? Everyone look that up. The other thing that helped was the billions and billions and billions of dollars that the entire planet contributed to making this vaccine, with it being a worldwide pandemic. And scientists freely shared information across continents so that the vaccine and the steps could be developed faster. And that's why we were able to do it in a year. The reason people of our color are sensitive about vaccines is because of the Tuskegee study on syphilis back in the early 1900s. That left a scar in our community that lasts until today. And there's so much false information on social media that is contributing to our hesitancy on getting the vaccine.
As well as the racism that is still seen in medicine and science today that has furthered the mistrust of our community in regards to medicine and this vaccine.
Right. Racial, medical health disparity is a reality. That's why it's important for African American, Hispanic, Asian physicians and scientists to stand up and say this vaccine is safe, and it's important for our African American and minority community to receive the vaccine, since we're the ones who have the highest rate of death from COVID-19 infection. People in our community need to be brave and get the vaccine so that we will be protected.
Now that Dr. Kelly has addressed some of our concerns about the vaccine, I want you to think about how the vaccine works in the time frame that it was built like this. The car you drive in or the bus you ride in takes less than a year to make. And we didn't start off with push-to-start engines or heated seats. The car actually began with the humble invention of the wheel. And years of scientists building off that foundation have led us to the cars and buses and trains that we ride in today. The same is happened with the vaccine. Scientists built off years of research and different scientific breakthroughs led us to this moment. The vaccine is safe and they didn't have to cut corners to make it, so we can trust it. Now that we've addressed some of our concerns, let's see how it works. Currently available in the US today are the Pfizer-BioNTech and Moderna vaccines. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine is up for review by the FDA for emergency use authorization. As many of you all have probably heard, the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are mRNA vaccines. mRNA is short for messenger RNA. Messenger RNA teaches our bodies how to make a protein. So these vaccines teach our bodies how to make a single protein, the spike protein on the surface of the coronavirus. By teaching our bodies how to make the spike protein, our bodies will learn to recognize coronavirus if it ever comes in contact with it. This is how the vaccine protects us from getting infected in the future. So let's get a little deeper. What's in the vaccine? So because it's an mRNA vaccine and it's just teaching our cells how to make the protein, it actually allows for very few ingredients to be in the vaccine. Both vaccines use a piece of synthetic mRNA. You know, synthetic, looks and behaves just like the real thing. And it's encased in a lipid protein coat so that it can travel through our bodies and get into our cells. And then it has some salts and sugars just to keep it all stable. It has no preservatives and only about 5 or 6 ingredients, which you'll be able to see on the screen. Now these things don't sit around in our bodies after the vaccine. Once the mRNA teaches our cells how to make the spike protein, the body gets rid of that information. And then it dissolves the lipids, salt, and sugars the same way your body processes those things in the food we eat every day. Now, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is a little different. It's what's called non-replicating viral vector vaccine. I know, a mouthful. But what that simply means is that instead of using a lipid or fat as the carrying vehicle for the information, it uses a harmless virus, different from the coronavirus, just to carry the information. And this virus cannot replicate or reproduce inside our bodies. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine specifically uses an adenovirus as its carrying vehicle. And inside that vehicle, instead of mRNA, it has a gene or a piece of DNA that does the same thing. It tells our body how to make the spike protein. Now, none of these vaccines can give you COVID-19. Why? Because they only have the information to tell your body how to make the spike protein. It doesn't tell your body how to make the whole virus, so it cannot make you sick. Say it with me, the COVID-19 vaccine cannot make me sick. It cannot give me COVID-19. Now, as we learned in our past videos about how the immune system works, if you have any side effects after the vaccine, that's just letting you know that your body is working to memorize the virus and is responding to the vaccine. Now, before we go, I want you to consider this. The very first vaccine ever created was for the smallpox virus. Smallpox no longer exists. We can end the COVID-19 pandemic if we all work together. Getting vaccinated doesn't just protect you, but it protects your family, your neighbors, and your friends from getting sick as well. If we get vaccinated, we can lower the death rates, stop spreading it, stop the mutations, and save lives. I hope you stay safe and get vaccinated.